Here we go.
Hey guys, Scotch for Dummies live.
What's up, guys?
We
How are you?
are on.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, gents.
Happy
happy
International
International Scotch
Scotch
Day
Day
to everybody out there and to you guys, man.
Every Thursday's
Well,
International Scotch
in this basement
Day.
it is.
It doesn't even have to be a Thursday, really.
No, that's the darn truth. I have absolutely no idea who's on right now. We got a different setup because we've got something really cool tonight.
Audio's good.
Right?
Good to go.
We have a couple of guests standing by that we're going to get to here in a few minutes from the wonderful distillery of Jura. So a couple of brand ambassadors. One's the U.S. ambassador, Benjamin Boyce, and then we've got the international brand ambassador all the way from Scotland, so Mr. Darroch Ramsay. So we're going to get to them in a little bit, but we've got a couple other things to do, guys, right?
Yep.
Yes. We got some things to talk about.
We do have some things to talk
what
about.
you drinking, right? What are you drinking? I don't even know. I know what I'm drinking.
So I've already gone through. We started off with bourbon tonight, believe it or not.
Yeah, what did we start with?
We started off with the Colonel Taylor.
Bottle and bond Mike brought over tonight.
That's a good bottle.
I started off with this. Well, you did too, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, that's why I
The
went
second round.
Second round.
I did that. I brought that over. That was sitting under my little private stash, and I was staring at it tonight, and I'm like,
You know who loves
why,
bourbon?
Why
Mark.
am I not opening that?
You know what? I actually enjoyed it, and
So
I need to try it later.
I followed Mike and Sean's lead on that, and I put just enough water on it, and I think it was
splash?
enjoyable. Not more than a glass enjoyable because it's really sweet, but I enjoyed the glass I did have. So I'm stuck on the Jura right now. This is the Jura show for me, so I'm gonna drink some Jura.
I'm hitting that next.
I'm getting it right now.
I've got this.
Glen Cadam, and we haven't
10.
reviewed this yet, have we?
Well, we haven't released.
We haven't released it.
That's right. That's right.
We have reviewed it.
We have reviewed it.
And I'm
I just
actually drinking it.
So that tells you it's.
don't- right.
Are you enjoying
So
Yes, I am.
In preparation for our guest here in about 15 minutes, we did send out a request for questions.
And got a
passed
great
it.
response.
Yeah, we did. We
It was
actually
good.
got, I don't know, close to maybe 24 questions, somewhere around 18 questions or so, and we passed it on to them.
Obviously, we have highbrow subscribers because they had some really
We
good
had some good
questions.
ones.
Yeah, there were some good questions. Now, I don't know if we're going to get to all of them because we got 30 minutes with these guys. So if we don't get to all of them, I've already asked them to at least get a response to each one of them that I can put in the comments for later. Because you guys took the time to ask them, we want to make sure you get an answer. So there's that. But before we get into these guys who are eagerly waiting, I know they've had a long day.
Super long.
We got to talk about what we released this Monday. It has to be talked about.
At least a little bit.
The reception it's received online from all you guys is amazing, and I will be the first to say it deserves it.
Yep. It was absolutely.
Bring that thing
amazing.
over here and let's
Sure.
put it front and center for a minute. This was absolutely an incredible glass for me. This was
And
a
gift.
Yes, this was a gift, Mr. Allen. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
We have a wee bit left for the end of the night.
That is going to be our personal off camera. We're going to have that little bit left and then shut it to you.
You know what? It was one of those bottles that I'd been pushing for like 2 months for us to what do you guys do? Let's do this one.
Yeah.
And everyone was like,
Oh,
oh no,
that's
we got to
great.
get to these couple other ones first. And it was like, all right, now we're going to do this.
Yep.
So, and it was either going to be amazing or it was going to be, I don't want to say disappointing, but maybe not live up to the hype. Totally lived up to the hype. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
It really was. It's so different. I mean, for an island, it's just a different kind of peat than I've ever had. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, it's like
And,
I said, it's like this a Speyside and Isla had a baby. I mean,
It's, God, is it delicious.
I
Incredible.
I watched
So-
the review today.
Yeah, I need to. We need to get the comments pulled up. I don't
Well, yeah,
even know
you need
who's
to,
on who's online right now.
We got Tamar, we got Whiskey in the Six, we got
Hey, Rob.
JCC, we got Everwin,
JCC is
Frank,
back.
Eric Waite's on there, Telex, of course, is always on.
Everyone
course,
in,
Todd.
Frank's on,
Scott Ted's
Eric.
Dummies, Tamar.
Hey, Scott.
I mean,
Whiskey Dick.
I
Bill's
thought
on.
Rob
Yeah.
had
I wanna-
teacher
I'm
conferences
surprised
tonight.
Bill's actually walking
You drinking
today.
already, Rob?
good for you.
Sneaking
That's-
one in the bathroom,
Bill, I think Bill's doing a little hair.
cigarette and a scotch in between conferences.
Is
I
that
can
Scott
get down
that's
with that.
on for
So-
the Scotch
Yeah.
Test Dummies?
We
Probably.
go
This guy?
yesterday. These guys trust us to run up to Vine.
I didn't know they were going.
Even I didn't trust us.
I'm
to run
saying,
it.
He
It's
really-
I'm not
he's
sure I trust
driving.
them.
unsupervised.
And he's like, I can't believe they let us go with the bank card, you know? And so the
That's a
first thing we
horrible
walk
idea.
in there, we walk to the locked glass part, you know, their scotch, the good stuff.
After you
And
went
there's
to
a-
Fogo de Chao or something.
There's a
first.
$3,000 bottle of Port Ellen, and John's like, well,
Okay.
first of all, we don't have that, and if we come home with a debt, you know, a loan from Vine and Table, they're really not going to be happy. But it was to see another Port Ellen, you know. Now you definitely know
Oh my
what
gosh.
the potential
Once
is.
you've had one, you're like, oh my gosh, how do they do that?
Strong like bull. Hey, Alan, he's on right now.
He is.
You're the man.
Alan, incredible. We're still talking about it.
That's still the wheelhouse to Alan.
Yeah.
Wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse.
Mr. Ward, thank you very
Amazing.
much for
I'll
sharing
find
this
out
with us.
later.
This is incredible.
Yeah. you're lucky.
I hope you. I know you have, Alan. I hope everybody else. I hope you guys have taken
look,
a
something
chance
shiny.
to look at all the comments, because there's some really good comments about
Yeah.
this, about other people's, whether it's their perception or what they think of it, or you know what their questions. It was really well received. It was a really cool review for us. So, thanks again, Alan.
2000?
Yeah, so when
Well,
you,
I was just gonna say the only thing it's our other 4, right?
Yeah,
It's the
right.
only other 4 we've given out of 136 technically reviews, over 200 plus videos.
Videos, and this
But-
is our second full
Four.
pocket 4, huh?
Perfect
yeah,
score.
and the thing about this that amazed me, and I said it in the video as well, is you don't know how good a scotch can be until you
Have
experience something like this.
Yeah.
It's like, how do they, I mean,
One
How do
barrel
they do that?
bottling. Did you guys
One
see
barrel
that?
bottle.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's definitely a unique thing. I'm so excited and glad we had a chance to drink it. So
Yeah.
appreciation very much.
And I'm a little
Well,
excited
so you
and
should
or excited and nervous that I'm excited that they're reopening the distillery. Nervous that they have to rebuild the stills from scratch, and not sure how that's going to
Yeah.
actually play out, because anytime you have to do something like that,
you know, the thing about distilling is, I mean, it's going to depend on what their ventilation system is like, because as that copper goes up and then over, the wind blowing on that is going to change the distillate that comes out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
everything is going to be different.
Yeah. So,
So-
literally, the
How many
chances of
butterflies
getting
they have
it,
flying
getting it right
around
the way it used to be is not
Butterflies.
Good luck.
not
I
realistic.
mean,
Plus,
now the thing is, they do have some ability to influence that with their cuts, and they taste it. They can cut the heads and the tails right,
maybe.
maybe.
Another big thing as a nerdy comment is that the standards of how it's built are
Oh.
probably completely different.
Completely different.
So
I mean, you
Well-
got to have clean environments.
yeah,
you've
so
gotta
it's going to
have-
be that's
How
going
about
to
this?
put a different.
what about the
They're gonna
difference
really
in
have to be
grain from
working.
back then? The different strain, the variations of the malt that they're
Well,
going to
and how
be
they
using.
peated and everything else.
Yep.
So much has changed. Let's just say that.
Although they did have their malting facility then, because that was built in the 70s.
that's
so,
true. That's true.
But it's going to be. Will it be the same? Probably not.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's not going to be good. So we'll cross our fingers. We only have to wait 14 more years.
Well,
Put that date on your calendar.
right. Roy from
But that'll be a
Aquavita,
that'll be a 12 year.
he commented.
Right.
He said, "Where you boys go from here, right?" And I
can't
said,
go
"Well,
up.
you know, we can either walk into a corner and cry ourselves to sleep, or we can figure out who's selling a kidney to get the next bottle."
I was standing behind the door of the ninth.
Speaking of Roy, he had a great show earlier today.
Did,
Make sure
he
you go
did.
back to his stream and look at that. He always gives us props at the end of his stream about checking out our show. So make sure you go back and look at his show. He does a great job.
It
His
was a good
trivia.
collab.
Mark was on from Whiskey Whistle. He was
Yeah.
on as well. And Roy did a really good job of talking about International Scotch Day, about what it's all about, and etc.
Well, and there were a lot of other whiskey tubers on there, some that I'd never heard of that Roy was giving shout outs to, and so I need to go back and watch it so I can pick up those names and go check out those channels.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm interested if he's watching them, that there's something to be seen on there. So, but a shout out to all the other tubers out there. So anybody that's watching, you know,
Yep.
we got Rob, we got Aquavite,
Bill, Scotch Test.
Bill,
Dummies,
Well,
those guys.
Eric
Dummies.
Waite's on there. Eric's doing a little bit of wine, and then he's getting to whiskeys as well.
Telex will be on after.
yeah,
Telex
Telex
is on,
got the
yeah.
after show.
So-
Yep.
But the one thing I thought was kind of cool though, the Diageo. It's really kind of the ones that are starting this whole thing, right? They opened their distilleries today
For free.
for free to
Yeah.
anyone that can come in, so and taste their Scotch.
Oh, wow.
That is cool. I saw an article, not to get into Scotch in the news or anything, we don't have that kind of time tonight, but I read an article about 10 things to do on International Scotch Day this year, and I was like, what should
one of
we
them's
do?
watch us.
Right. I wish that would have been in the list.
Wear a kilt.
Right, but one was to visit the Whiskey Experience in Edinburgh, and
That
I
was
was like,
very
you know
cool.
what,
That was really cool.
that's a really good idea because it's a really cool experience. Even if you're, been drinking Scotch whiskey for years, it's still an interesting thing to do. Just someone hand you a scratch and sniff, from the regions. You're like,
And the drone flying around,
it
you're
does
like,
smell like
wow, it
Highland.
does smell like Isla. It does smell like a Highland. They've done a good job at Disney.
I mean, Playboy had a scratch and sniff back in the 70s. Why not?
Wow.
What? Did you really go that angle?
It's true.
That's crazy.
Tom mentioned a Rosemary Moon.
I don't
She has
know.
some videos. He said,
We'll have to check her out, Tom.
Oh,
Rosemary
yeah,
Moon.
yeah.
She's great.
Um,
I was watching a few of her videos while I was waiting.
They
to
mentioned
arrive.
her on Aquavite's show. That's where he's coming up with that. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to look at some more stuff.
Yeah.
We get about 5 minutes or less.
Yeah. So let's, as we get ready to bring our guests on the show, we'll give a little bit of a lengthy intro. So we ran into Ben. We're introduced to Ben through Vine and Table. Dennis Lynch and their whiskey
Expo.
Expo. Thank you.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, and so this year we had Ben on the show.
Yep.
And he brought something special when he came to get interviewed.
Heck
with us,
yeah,
right?
he did.
You remember what he brought? So he also represents the Dalmore, and
Yep.
so he had snuck in. He had brought us something that he wasn't serving to all the other
Yeah,
whiskey.
Sean and I
goers.
were able to taste it first.
And
We were
what
the
was
lucky
it?
guys.
It was some Dalmore
Dalmore
25 or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Dalmore
It was
25.
exquisite. It was really good.
You know,
You and I were on the sidelines going,
I know.
Well,
What the hell?
You know, right now he's already disconnected.
yeah.
So no one can hear
And
this. Right?
Paul,
Yeah.
and
She's like,
It was
I can, no.
It was a good show that we had, and so we've stayed in touch with him and reached out to him, and this opportunity came on because Derek was coming to the States to kind of tour the States and do some promoting and marketing for Jura. So we happened to get lucky to get both of them on the show tonight. We're gonna introduce them and let them tell you guys a little bit about who they are and where they come from and what got them to this point in their careers and whiskey and all that good stuff.
Because everybody knows what got us to this point
Yeah,
of whiskey, right?
what was it? It was a bottle of Macallan
we're
12.
sign language.
You guys go back and watch the whole progression
Right.
from start to
A bottle of
finish.
Macallan 12 and a dartboard over there.
So I got a funny story about the Whiskey Expo with a Dalmore 25. So he brought this little bottle, and Sean and I got our little pours out of it, and then he walked off camera, and I took the bottle and put it in my coat pocket,
Oh,
and he kept going, and then these guys grabbed him and
we
said,
screwed
"Hey,
you."
we want to taste some of that." I'm like, so he came back and said, "Where's the bottle?" I was like, "Oh, here it is." It's like we could have had that
you
bottle.
I
know
think
what,
we
though?
made the right decision.
I think it was the right move because
I
I mean
wouldn't-
that was a personal thing of his. It
Well,
was
yeah, I mean, he
amazing.
would have gotten it back clearly. I mean, we're not
Obviously,
gonna
we're not
steal
that
from him,
bad, but it was
I
a
was like,
nice
"What are you
bottle.
He's suggesting that we should trust him with whiskey.
You're right.
Not
Why?
gonna
What's-
Have you
happen.
seen the last few reviews? He's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
I
Sticking his
know.
pants.
Well, just because I don't have any in my bar because nothing lasts. So
You should go to Mark's. He's got a lot.
yeah,
Hey,
you
now.
should.
Man,
Throw me on the
he
bus.
talks like you invite him over, which we know
No.
you don't.
Which exactly. Why would I do that? The last time I did, you guys were like a kid in a candy store.
Well, yeah, but we didn't open any unopened bottles.
We opened all the unopened
Almost
bottles.
every unopened bottle I own is now open.
we smashed
because
your
of these
collection.
freaking guys.
There's no doubt. We made
Bull in a china
So-
shop.
That's right.
Anyway, without further ado,
Yep.
let's bring on Ben, the U.S. ambassador from Jura, and Darroch Ramsay from the international brand ambassador. Now they are in a hotel lobby. I don't know what city they're in. They're going to tell us. So there may be some background noise from time to time, but Gentlemen, are you on?
Derek's on it.
Derek's on.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
All good.
So
So,
I've got a confession. Ben asked me if I wanted a drink, and he went and got me a Jura, and I think he's actually flying over to Jura to get it because he's not come back.
is he broke?
So at the moment, and unfortunately, you've only got me at the moment, but I'm sure he'll come back at some point.
Oh, that's all right.
No. Start us off. Tell us, who, what, when, where, and why. What got you to where you're at?
Have him lift up his
I
microphone.
probably started like a lot of people. I started out as a bartender, and I'm Scottish, so it's kind of standard to be interested in Scotch, right? and I decided I'd launch. So I launched my own whiskey event in Edinburgh. It's a kind of modern whiskey event aimed at challenging some of those kind of stuffy convention stuff. Like it's all about doing stuff a wee bit different and having a bit of fun with Scotch. And so it's called the Edinburgh Whisky Smash, and it's held in May every year. So I did that. I started that 7 years ago, and along the way I've worked for some brands as well. So guess who's back?
Guess who's back?
I got a jam.
Hey, there you
Hey,
go.
You got some
Something
Jura.
to
That's
do.
awesome.
I got some Jura. And along the way, I've worked for some brands along the way. So I actually did working Jura a few years ago at AES.
How you doing, guys?
And I worked on Black Bottle, was a blended at the time blended whiskey of all the Islas at the time. It isn't now. And also worked a bit on Bunnahabhain, but I've also worked on some other brands in a kind of small capacity here, there, and everywhere. So I decided to come back into Scotch last year from my point of view, and I joined White Mackay, working solely on the Jura brand from August last year, and that's kind of my story.
So where at in Scotland are you from?
I'm from Glasgow. I'm a Ouija.
So you need to meet another whiskey tuber, a good friend of ours, Aquavite. He runs a really good channel, runs a really good show. His name is Roy, and he's in Glasgow. We met with him when we were in Scotland this summer. But you mentioned the Stray Mash, and I wanted to say that I went and checked that out. I don't know the exact URL. Was it Whiskey Stray Mash?
Whiskystramash.com.
Yeah, really cool. I wish we had the opportunity to make it. You were involved in creating that?
Sorry, what did you say there?
Were you involved in creating that?
Yeah, it's my business. It's me and my best mate.
It looks
Best
pretty
mate
successful. Yeah, it looks like.
It's about 3,000 people over a weekend. It's one of the largest events in the UK, and it's just a bit different. We've done everything. We've done some madcap science stuff. We wrote a murder mystery about Jura, and then we've just had some amazing whiskies there that people could try along the way as well. So it's kind of a bit experiential and a bit fun. But there's some amazing whiskies to try as well.
Well, we're gonna have to figure out how to come crash that party.
No kidding.
But I tell you what, if you guys can get over, I'll sort you out with some tickets. I'm pretty sure.
you know the
Getting
guy.
over is the hard part.
He knows the guy. Yeah.
He knows the guy, right?
I think you're right.
Well, we want to get into the questions. I know that I sent you the questions and emails earlier, but we definitely want to get to them because, and we might have Drew or Andrew ask a few that from the chat that's going on. But before we get to the questions, as I'm teeing up, or Sean's teeing up the first one, Ben, why don't you introduce yourself to our subscribers for those that don't know you?
Yeah, so my name is Ben Boyce. I'm the White Mackay brand ambassador for the Southeast of the United States. Formerly the Midwest. Just recently moved to the Miami market about a month ago. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
It's a little warmer.
no offense to you guys. I'm sorry, but it's much nicer here than it is
Yeah.
Midwest right now.
Yep.
I was just looking at a newscast about more storms to come, so I apologize ahead of time.
Well, luckily those are north of us a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been in Miami a few times, man. It's amazing. I love that place.
Weren't you up in Chicago?
I'm sorry?
Weren't you up in Chicago?
Yeah, I was up in Chicago.
Yeah,
so
that's
up in the
right.
Midwest,
Yeah, they're about to
Midwest,
get
yeah.
they're about to
snow.
get like what
Smash.
8 to 14 inches
Yeah.
of snow.
Something like that.
It's gonna be nuts.
Yep.
So yeah,
you're missing
I'll be
out.
walking around in about 8 to 14 inches of sand, so I'm okay with that.
Nice.
Good to be
Hope none of
king.
your friends
Now you
back
guys
home
can
are
hate me now.
watching.
That's okay.
We were going to throw you softball questions, but now you're going to get the
Now
hard
you get the
stuff.
Well,
I
Sean,
wouldn't expect
why
anything
don't
less.
Go ahead,
I wouldn't
John.
expect anything less.
All right, so we got a bunch of comments online. We went online last night and asked a lot of our viewers to submit questions, and so we took a handful of those. So the first question we have for you guys: what's the defining characteristics of Jura? What sets it apart from the rest of the market, and how do you anticipate positioning Jura to stand out in a crowded marketplace?
Well, okay, so Jura has there's a couple of things to tell you about Jura. So it's a pretty unique island. It's very I can only think of perhaps one other distillery where the distillery is actually the same name as the actual distillery. Distillery's name is actually in place as the island. So for the people on the island, the fact that their island's on the bottle puts them on the map, and so really we have an island where the whiskey, the island and the community are interlinked, and people who live on Jura make a life choice to be there and live there, and they're hugely passionate about the whiskey they create and they produce, and that's we've been talking to loads of guys this week about Jura and just telling them a bit about it, and we all know that craft has become this phenomenon, right? But Jura was craft before craft. You have an island, you know, this is the ultimate craft. You have an island that people put blood, sweat and tears into the whiskey. They really are passionate about it, and that's it's quite a unique proposition. And in terms of the whiskey we actually produce, Jura really is a hybrid of the best of Highland and Island styles. We've got that rich heritage of producing some peated whiskey, particularly when the distillery originally opened in 1910. But when it closed and reopened again in 1963, we put some of the highest and tallest stills in Scotland. So what that means is that the distillate we produce is really light and floral, and that's a really good start for some American white oak ex-bourbon barrels, which is where Jura really starts and thrives upon. Lovely, those lovely notes of caramel and vanilla.
Well, that's a good lead into the next question, though, and I wanted to talk about. There's several different questions that were around the same theme, if you will, and it's basically, what's the lineup of Jura? Past, current, and wow, you guys are partying there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're currently listening to Sunshine of Your Love.
Yeah.
We tried to find a good quiet spot.
This is the quietest spot.
So you guys are fine.
So
the current lineup of Jura at the moment, everywhere with the exception of the US, is we have the Jura 10, the Origin, we have Superstition, and Prophecy, and then we have the Jura Soul 16-year-old. That's the core range. And then last year, about a year ago, we launched a new 10-year-old into the US, and that 10-year-old won best 10-year-old in the year at the International Spirits Competition.
Ooh.
And has probably started the beginning of some new stuff for Jura that's about to come down the line. And it's about really focusing on us having a house style that people start to learn about Jura, because the current range we have is divergent to Jura. Consumers can try Jura, and one can drink Prophecy and one can drink 10-year-old, and they're on different planets, and they don't quite understand why it's coming from the same distillery. So what we want to do is have a style of whiskey that which is all about subtle smoke and sweetness, and it's really easy to drink and understand, and it showcases the best of Highland and Island, and that's what we're probably going to do very shortly.
So I know this question wasn't in there, but I'm kind of curious. We've got we have the Origin and the new 10. How is it different from the old 10?
So the original, the Origin has no peats, a completely unpeated whiskey. The similarity is that they both start in American white oak ex-bourbon. However, our new 10 has a slight smoke influence there. The way I would describe it is it's almost like seasoning. It's like salt and pepper on a scale of 1 to Ardbeg and Lafroig and Lagavulin. This is like a 2 or a 3 tops.
Okay.
And then and the new 10-year-old is finishing all the also sherry casks.
So let me ask
So
you,
it's yeah.
how are you getting the peat? How are you getting the peat?
Acquiring it.
Right. How are you getting it into the bottle? There's so many different methods that people are doing. Are you peating the malt, or are you using peated barrels, or are you relying on the water source because it's a peated water source? How?
Nah, it's all from the malt. So what we're doing is if you remove the 6 weeks of the year that the distillery doesn't produce any whiskey, we are producing four weeks of the year we're producing peated whiskey, and then we never that peated whiskey goes into American white oak ex-bourbon barrels, and we only use any finishing on our unpeated. So that what we're doing is we're having that separate distillation, and we're using that peated whiskey almost as I described earlier on. It's like the salt and pepper. It's like that seasoning, and that's because you know what it's like, guys. I heard you talk about some of the whiskies that you were. I heard you talk about them. That those peated whiskies are full of flavour, and we want to make something that's really enjoyable and easy for consumers to try. Jura's always been a brand that's brought new people into malt Scotch and into whiskey, and we want to use that smoke as an influence of character rather than the core flavour.
Well, it actually sounds like a good answer to another question that we had, where somebody asked, "Is Jura a good way to get started into peat?" And it sounds like this new 10 is that good way to get into a peated whiskey, because it's going to be a really lighted peated whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be. We've got some new expressions that are going to be launched extremely shortly, and all those expressions are going to have that same subtle smoke and sweetness to them. And Jura, you're absolutely right. Jura has been and will continue to be a brand that we see as consumers see as an entry point into malt Scotch. And some of the work that I've been doing since I joined is about thinking about how we do bring new consumers into malt Scotch, because like don't get me wrong, there's some fantastic whiskies out there which are all about sip and savour, but you guys were asking where we were. We're in Florida. We're in South Beach, Miami. It's 28 degrees today, and it'd be nice to have a refreshing whiskey cocktail. So we've been
28
drinking.
degrees Celsius.
It's 28 degrees Celsius, guys. Sorry, sorry.
I got that. I knew what you were talking about.
That's pretty damn cold.
Salt on the wound right there.
It's pretty warm. It's -4 and snowing in Glasgow, but that's the Celsius type. But we've been drinking today. You guys, Blood Orange San Pellegrino. You ever tried that?
Yeah.
We've been drinking Jura, the new Jura 10-year-old with Blood Orange San Pellegrino today with a bit of a sprig of mint. We've been sitting out and we've been having a good time.
That sounds delicious.
nice.
I love that stuff.
So you get a little smoke and
And
most
all that
sweetness of the smoke.
Sorry?
You get a little smoke with the sweetness of the Pellegrino.
Yeah, exactly that kind of rich sweetness from the blood orange. And all that's about is just maybe giving people another way to think about how you could drink whiskey. For me, there's lots of whiskies that are out there that we can sit and talk a lot about and have a lot. We can really get into it. And then there's whiskies that are a bit more accessible and easy to drink, and I think that's where I see Jura's place. I think that's what Jura's about. And actually, our new range has got some. I genuinely do believe that our new range has got something for everyone in it. There's sort of people who want to come into whiskey, but we've got some slightly more complex expressions that I think you guys are going to love pretty shortly.
Especially for those,
Can't wait.
especially for those whiskey geeks out there, you're going to enjoy these.
Yeah, totally. We've got something that's a bit more complex, and then we've got something we've got something that's really rich and sweet. Just we're a couple of weeks away from announcing it.
Nice.
It's
A couple
exciting.
weeks from announcing it.
It's
All right.
exciting.
So that tells me that we need to tee you up for another visit in a couple weeks.
Well, you'll need to change the time because 10 a.m. in the UK is probably going to be a tough gig for me. But Ben will be delighted to speak to you. He's delighted.
And that's okay.
He's psyched.
Well, was there a comment?
Yeah.
So Lee and a few others have asked about the Jura Zone, and we've talked about it a little bit.
So bring it up.
So, why is Jura Zone gone? Everybody loves
Everyone
Jura
wants
Zone.
Jura Zone. So what's going on with Jura Zone?
What happened to the
So
16?
So the current range, as we know it, the four expressions that we talked through earlier on, that core range, by the end of this year, we won't be making them anymore. So for you guys, if they enjoy them, I would highly recommend to go and purchase them.
Wait, so you're completely changing the lineup this year? None of the currently available bottles will be available next year.
That's absolutely the current core range will not exist by the end of this year.
Wow.
So what
So
does that?
especially if you go into, if you're going into Reds, for example, go check to see if he still has that Jura 21 in there. Now that's definitely going to be a collector's item.
Wow. So you heard it here first, guys.
A little bit of intel, guys.
Jura's, all the current
Are all,
expressions are going collectible.
Right.
Our
Well,
our new range will all have that subtle smoke and sweetness, and where our old range you have that old range has some peated. So you think about it, you've got the origin is unpeated, you've got prophecy that's really peated, and then superstition somewhere in the middle. The new lineup will have a course that have a house style across all of it, and part of the reason for that, gents, is we've had to tell consumers about what to expect in the bottle, and actually what we've not been able to do is tell the brilliant story about the people in the island, and actually that's what makes Jura really interesting. That's where that we can tell that story of the. Look, did you guys know that there's less than 200 people live in Jura?
I was
5,000 deer. There's one road. There's one shop. There's no police officers. It's a nightmare to get a phone signal. The people who live there make a life choice. We've not been able to tell that story because we've had to tell people about what to expect, and so consumers will learn. Consumers will start to understand what Jura is about, which is about the best of the Highland and Island, and there's some really nice, easy whiskey to drink, and some complex ones for the guys who want to see something different. And that's what we want to do for the year ahead.
That's what I was going to ask you about, though. So tell us a little bit about that island. So, I mean, none of us have been there. I think one of our subscribers watching right now has actually been. But so with less than 200 people, how many of those people work at the distillery? What are the challenges that you guys have with getting your Scotch out to the world? How do you get your material in? How do you get your product out? What do you guys keep your dunnage house on the island, or do you take it over somewhere else? Or the logistics for you guys has got to be a nightmare.
Okay, sorry guys, we just had a bit of a poor connection there. Could you just repeat the question? I think you wanted to ask some questions about the island and the people and the logistics.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. What's the logistics like? Since you're such a confined island, about getting stuff off and
does everybody on the island work at Jura, or what percentage of the people?
It's got to be a big percentage, I would think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Jura is off the west coast of Scotland, and most people get there by they've got two options. They can take a flight over to Islay and then travel to a ferry to go over some of the most treacherous waters in Scotland to get to the single track road, which is not the widest but is very long and winding. Or the alternative is you can take a 3-hour car journey to a ferry for 3 hours over and then another 3 hours on the ferry to get to Islay, which is probably the route that the guys who are transporting over to transporting casks on and off island are doing. So it's like a 3-hour ferry and then a trip across Islay and then another ferry onto the island. So the answer to your question is that it's a remote island. If you miss the 7 o'clock ferry, you're not getting back home that night, and if there's some low-lying cloud on Islay, then you're not getting home either. Well, it's just happened to me a couple of times. Wow. But it's all right. I just go back to the distillery and have a couple of jams, right? There's worse things to happen. But to tell you a bit about the island, I think I kind of mentioned earlier on. So there's just shy of 200 people live on island. There's 5,000 deer. There's one road. There's one shop. The shop shuts at lunchtime, which is the challenge. So if you're hungry at lunchtime, you have to wait till after 1 o'clock. There's one pub. There's one hotel. There's no phone connection unless you're right in the distillery and sitting beside the booster. There's some amazing. The scenery is just unbelievable. It's really green, lots of colours, lots of beautiful natural colours, amazing wildlife. The last time I was there, I had a Mexican standoff with a deer. We were both standing in the road, going, "Who's moving?" And we both ran away. And it's just a beautiful place. And to ask your question about the people in the island, the whiskey, I said before that it's the whiskey island community. They're all interlinked. One can't really exist without the other. And about 10 to 15% of the people on the island work directly with the distillery, but there's a huge amount of people who come to the island because of this distillery. So there's a huge tourism element. But there are other things on the island. For instance, there's some crofters on island. There's some fishermen, and there's the guy who also is the postman. Is also the bus driver. So it's and everybody knows everyone. Absolutely everybody knows everyone, and everyone is really super passionate about the distillery, the people, and the whiskey they produce, because it puts them on the map, and it's a really central and core part of the island.
Yeah, if you really like to sit back and enjoy a dram and look outside, especially with the lovely weather that the Midwest tends to offer, it is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, one thing I know about the island, no matter what direction you look, you're going to see some beautiful wildlife, you're going to see some beautiful scenery, you're going to possibly see seals out in the actual bay itself. It's just, everything is a postcard.
It's like a movie.
When you actually get to the island.
Magical.
It's a really rugged island. It's really open to the elements. I was there in January, and it was, at 1 minute it was blowing a hoolie, and the next minute it was snowing, and then it was sunny for 10 minutes, and then it was back to raining. It's just what it's like on the island.
It really is a utopian type atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I have something kind of funny, interesting for you. Odds are, based on what you've told us, you might actually know this person. But so Lee is one of our Patreons. She's always on. She's a big supporter. She's awesome. And she wanted to ask you, Derek, next time you go to Jura, please tell Maggie Doyle hello from Leanne, women from Louisiana. So I don't know if you know Maggie Doyle or not, but she's...
Hold on, we're going to write that down.
I'm writing it down as we speak. Maggie Doyle. And what's the girl's name? What's your subscriber?
Leanne.
Lee from Louisiana, the woman from Louisiana.
So Lee was on
Is she the only Lee in Louisiana?
She's the only one.
She's the only one
She's probably the only one that's been to the island.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so Lee was on the island for the music festival and ended up, I think, staying in Maggie's house.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's pretty neat.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's the only Maggie Doyle on the island.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In 2 weeks' time, so I'll pass on the message.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And Lee actually did have a good question she posed to me earlier. She wanted to know, what does Jura do for the Fay Isle?
So we have our day. We have our day that we host on island, and this year we're going to have some music. We'll have our annual release this year. I've been on the road for a couple of weeks, so that the actual bottling I'm not 100% sure of, but I'll be finding out when I go back the week following next. And it's really about some good music, some good whiskey, and a chance to really showcase the island. That's really what it's all about for us, and it's about bringing people over and showing them that it's really worth the trip coming over to Jura, because
I'm sold.
Really, I always find it a bit frustrating when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, they did the pilgrimage, right? They went to Jura, so they went to Islay, and we went and seen all the distilleries. I mean, there's a new distillery on Isle every week at the moment, and they didn't go over to Jura, and Jura's just, it's just unbelievable. The scenery, the people, actually the hotel. I'm serious. You know, the food the hotel makes and the effort they put, it's fantastic, and they're super friendly. They really appreciate the effort that people come over. So I'd encourage any of your guys who are listening, if you do that, make that pilgrimage. It's totally worth the effort to go over to the distillery.
I think you sold it very well, at least for us.
Yeah,
We'll
We'll
definitely
be there. Don't know when, but we will.
We'll make it
We
one of
gotta
these
get a
days.
trip. We gotta get like a 3-week trip to Scotland and spend a day on Jura, a couple days on Isla,
Yeah.
Highlands. But yeah,
We gotta make like a month-long trip.
There'll be 210 people on the island for
Inside connection. It works
3
well.
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys will produce a special bottling for the festival.
Yeah, we'll have a there's a couple of things going on with at the distillery this year, so that'll fall into that as well. So we'll have a release there.
Awesome.
We're also working on a few other things at the distillery, which we'll be announcing shortly as well. And I think especially for you, the guys who'll be listening to the podcast, that will be the kind of things that like at a distillery only bottling that they'll be interested in.
Trust me, those bottlings are worth it. So get out there and get a bottle while you can.
We like that kind of
know,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
That's our kind of stuff. I guess
I'm
we
already
had
working on some bartering system here with Derek to see what kind of bottles he will send me.
Treat them well.
Just asking me what I can send them.
Naturally, that's what we do. We trade bottles. That's the reason why we're in this industry.
that seems fair.
Tough job.
Yeah, right?
Killing me.
One quick question, Joe. Do you distill, age, and bottle everything on the island?
No. We distill and age on island. The majority of our liquid as well. Some of it, we don't have enough room for everything on island, but we do have a large warehouse, large warehouses on island. But no, we don't bottle it on island. There's just not the space. And to be honest, I think if you guys visited the island, you'd understand why we don't do it on island. It's just not feasible.
So, how many days a year do you actually bottle? So it wouldn't make sense to have a bottling facility on Jura if you only bottle like a week a year or something. What's your schedule?
Pass. I don't know the answer to that question. We're distilling 24/7 now, and have been for some time.
Okay.
But in terms of the bottling process, it's done on the mainland,
Wow.
and it's not. I couldn't answer it. I couldn't
Okay.
answer that.
No worries.
But White Mackay, we have a number of branches you guys will be aware of, Dalmore and Shackleton, etc. So it's just when it fits in line of what's being produced at the time.
Yeah, you guys have heard of Delmar, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
More
Yeah. Who? Our only other one of our two number fours.
Yeah, but
Love
how
that.
about ones you haven't heard of, like Tam Lagoon and Betacare? There might be some stuff coming down the line.
That's
in
some
those ones
goodies.
as well.
Those are hard to find here. We'll have to find bottles of that.
We need
to
good
do
mates like you to bring it over.
Hey, just remind you, we're the 4
Guys.
dummies. You need to educate us.
Scotch for Dummies,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's it.
I've had him asking me for bottles. Don't you guys?
That's it. Thanks, man. Thanks, Ben. Sean, you had some questions?
Yeah, so we had one question about whether or not Jura, how they peat their malt. Do you get it from the Port Ellen malting
Yeah.
malting
Nah,
facility,
we
or
get it
do you
from-
guys do it yourself?
Nah, we buy it from Crisp Maltings on the mainland and bring it over.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
It's to spec and then it's brought over on land.
Right.
Mm.
Very good.
And
That's
then we
solid.
get a different. We have a different producer for our peated malt. So we have two producers that provide us our maltings, and we bring it onto island.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
actually, there's it's for us it's all about the cast and the stills. That's what the influence lies.
Okay.
Keep at it. You're up.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Well, so you mentioned earlier that you only distill peated like 4 weeks a year. Did I hear that right? So
Yeah,
so
it's either at the start of the year or at the end of the year. It's just how it depends on. It's to do with when we close reopen the distillery.
So you're distilling 24/7, but there's enough potency in those 4 weeks of peated that you can blend that into your
Our 10-year-old and our
Yeah.
new expressions, yeah.
Okay, very good.
I think the hoagie question from Germany is probably appropriate too.
Go ahead and give it to him.
So we have a subscriber from Germany that he only drinks high proof whiskeys,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, he's a cask strength
and
guy.
so he wanted to know why he has to go to an independent bottler to get high proof
Cask strength.
Jura.
Now there are some we've launched over the last couple of years. Some certainly much higher proof whiskies. So we've been doing some limited editions the last couple of years, and we did one for the road 2 years ago, and one in all this year, and they are much higher strength and limited editions. The one for the road was 22-year-old, and one in all was 20 years old this year. They're much higher proof. And we have had some much higher cast, much closer to cast expressions over the last couple of years. And then later this year we'll have some new age statement stuff coming out as well.
So
sure that'll get.
is there anything you can say about what's coming up this year? I mean, I know there are certain rules and things about that, but it sounds like the fact that you're completely changing your lineup means that there's big changes going on at Jura. And
yeah,
what can you share?
What can I share? I can share that we will have a complete new lineup, which we'll be using a range of. So all of our whiskies will be starting in American white oak, and then we'll be using a range of European oak casks for finishing, which will provide us a new lineup, which will be quite diverse and have something for everyone. But they'll all have that core, that new style. It's going to be called the Signature Series, and they'll all have subtle smoke and sweetness.
Wow.
So that they'll all have that. Now, we also have launched, and this is certainly in the domain that we've launched a new travel retail range. And that range of whiskies that's going into travel retail are all being also in that subtle smoke and sweetness, and they're all finished in PX casks, Pedro Jimenez casks.
So you're marrying the peated and unpeated before you do the finishing?
Sorry?
You're marrying the peated and unpeated cask before you finish?
No, we're finishing and then we're marrying with the. So we're never doing any finishing with the peated with the unpeated whiskey, and then we bring back together for marrying before we bottle.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
Very good.
I'm anxious to see what
I am too.
what you guys have to say in the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it. And I think
I can't wait to talk.
I really
I know
can't.
you're doing a really good job of restraining yourself. You're like,
We're trying hard.
But I mean, honestly, I think the theme that I've heard you kind of try to convey is that Jura is really trying to bring a more consistent profile across their range, so that when someone says Jura, they have a standard of knowing what to expect right off the bat. And there's going to be some differences and subtleties there, but not like the lineup is today, where there's such a wide variety between a superstition and an origins, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And what strikes me from the conversation we're having is that you guys know a bit about Jura and you know some of the expressions, but you guys don't know a huge amount about the island, and that's because we've not been able to talk about it. And I think actually what our new range is going to do is allow us to tell that amazing story of
That's
people who
nice.
live there.
That's brilliant.
That's the magic, right?
Yep.
That's as I've been saying. That's what we've been discussing tonight. It's like that craft before craft.
You got it.
You know that it's all those, and that's what makes Jura special. You know, the fact that the whiskey, the island, the community are all interlinked, if you think about that, the way we think about it is it's a kind of a triangle and they're all interlinked. If we are the whiskey, we've got a responsibility to tell the story of the island and the community. We need to tell that story, and we've not been able to do that. And we're going to be able to do that with a new range. And there's going to be we're going to talk a wee bit differently about Jura, because we're going to be able to tell people about the island and the community. So we've got loads of really super, and I genuinely mean I can't wait. It'll all be unveiled really shortly. We've got some really cool stuff to come out. And
So, right on.
And I think the thing for me is that the 10-year-old went in and won best 10-year-old whiskey in the year, or best 10-year-old whiskey in the world last year. And some of these whiskies are going to get entered into competitions. People like you guys are going to get the chance to try them. And I'm really excited to get the feedback, because it's an exciting. This is the biggest thing that Jura has ever done. It is that important.
That's really cool. So I mean,
awesome.
We're actually, obviously we're going to be watching, with bated breath for the announcement. And Ben, we're going to be pinging you about it probably every other day, saying when's this going to happen. But
I'm on a little more local time than
right.
Yeah.
But no.
Don't phone me at 10 p.m.
No, come on. It's only like 4 a.m. your time.
Come
I might
on.
get a couple of words that are expletive if you. But I'm sure we can catch up again. That would be great.
Yeah, and we look
this
forward
is not
to it.
This is not the last time Derek's going to be in the United States. It's just the first time in the United States for Jura.
Well,
I've got 2 other visits planned this year.
we're super excited that you guys came on the show and talked to us about this and answered some questions from our
those are good
subscribers.
questions,
We'll be in touch.
Guys, can I just interrupt? Can I just ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Oh, man, I'm scared.
Oh no.
So, so this is the first time I've seen the podcast, but have you guys tried the current Jura range? I see. I can see. You tried a few of the whiskeys.
Some of them.
Yeah.
But
So
what ones do you guys like? What's the whiskies in the current range that you like?
I think the number one in the current range, I would say across the board for us, was the Jurek Zone, the 16.
Yep.
I think that was our favorite.
I'm digging the superstition.
Yeah,
And then-
I like the superstition.
It's been a while since we had the prophecy. Right now, between the origins and the superstition, I would have to say that I really like the superstition. The 10 origins there's just not much to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine it peated right now, and I like it better that way.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's a super, I'm a peat head, so this is Andrew, and I like the peat. I like expressions that can blend that peat and that sweet. It's sometimes very difficult to do because the peat can overpower it. So the fact that you're just salting and peppering with a little peat could make a really nice expression.
You guys are getting a good guitar solo.
This new signature series that we're launching this year. This has been a project that we've been working on as a business for the last 2 years, and we've done a lot of research on the new range. We've taken it to people to Glasgow, in Scotland, London, Paris, Hamburg, New York, and we've had this in front of consumers, and over 70% of them prefer the new liquid to the old liquid, so hands down. So I'm really looking forward to you guys getting it and trying it and giving us your feedback.
We would
are
love,
too.
We're going to dig in hard on that stuff.
We would really, we want to hear the story of Jura, but short of you sending us tickets to come to Jura, I think we're going to have to get it to get the story from you like this. But no, seriously, Derek, we really appreciate you coming on tonight, taking the time to talk to us and our subscribers, answer some questions. We really look forward to having you on when the new lineup does get announced, so we can really get into that. There's already questions online about it. We're going to have to hold our subscribers off for a while on that. So I just want to say thank you from me. I'm going to pass it around the horn to the guys. But thank you, Ben and Derek. I appreciate you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. This is Andrew. I really appreciate. I think I'm going to like the new lineup. I think the addition of peat is always a good advantage, and being able to just blend that in, and if you're increasing the proof and increasing the non-chill filtered things, I think a lot of our viewers like that as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm a branding guy, marketing guy at heart, and I just love the fact that you guys are doing the story behind it. I mean,
Yeah.
stories sell everything, and the fact that you guys are recognizing that about what you're doing, I mean, it's like a book. Who doesn't want to dive into the story behind the scenes? It just makes everything so much better. So I'm looking forward to hearing everything else. I do appreciate you guys jumping on.
Round us out.
Actually, hearing from our subscriber Lee, because she's talked to us about Jura already.
Right.
So hearing from you as well, it sounds like an awesome place.
We gotta go.
And really, if you're really trying to push your whiskey towards being an ambassador for that place, I think that's an awesome idea. And I wish you guys luck, and I can't wait to try it.
Mike, round us home, buddy. You're on the
You're
show.
on the spot.
You
Is that a bourbon?
No, actually, it's not. I had tried the
Superstition.
Superstition.
This is our bourbon guy. So,
It's too
Yeah.
peaty for you, right?
uh-oh.
Actually, no, it was good.
Did you lose him?
I think we lost him.
Well, we lost him at the end.
Did we
so,
lost him?
it is
Yeah.
what it is.
No, I didn't have any
I'll
problem
have
with
to
it.
call him and see
Actually,
what happened. That's all right. I tell you what, we'll round it up and say, don't worry, guys. We've already got them booked
Yep.
for a couple weeks down the road when this
We-
announcement
yeah,
comes.
We have their phone number.
Yeah, just we tried to have the announcement tonight, but we were
Apparently, we got scooped by somebody else.
we got
Oh.
sniped by someone
2
bigger
weeks,
with
missed
a
by
little
2
bit,
weeks.
hire lawyers, I guess, because we don't have a lawyer. But anyway, it's okay.
We have a lawyer, but we pay him in
Right.
booze.
So, this was scheduled, and we wanted to get him on. He's in the States running around and promoting this, and we're excited about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I know there was a lot of background noise from the hotel. Hopefully it wasn't too bad to hear.
Yep.
I had a good time, and I
Yeah.
wish we could actually cross paths with him because he looks like a fun guy to have a couple glasses of whiskey with.
I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah, right. But
I bet the more he drinks, the bigger his accent
Oh
comes
my
out,
gosh.
and I bet it gets to the point that it's just absolutely amazing.
I'm
And you're
kind of
probably-
disappointed he didn't take out the deer, though.
I know.
Right? I mean,
How much do you want to go to Jura right now? I mean, just see
I'm
the
ready,
beer and the one
I'm ready.
hotel and the one
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah,
and-
Lee, preach it. You're on, Lee. Tell us about Jura and tell us.
We'd have to stay at somebody's house.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Well, that's what
They don't
we
care.
The
did.
hotel only has room for like 8 people. So
Yeah.
Eric, they're in Miami right now, so they're traveling. But guys, this is just something we're trying to do more shows like this. We've got at least I think 3 or 4 more ambassadors we've got lined up. Shows like this. We're going to do some more good content. Obviously our normal wheelhouse, but thanks for joining in with us tonight, guys. We had a good time. We've got about 3 or 4 months left. If you guys want to keep going.
Yeah, we do. We've got more subscribers. I mean, more guests coming on the show in the next month. A lot of things going on.
we got a bunch of good whiskeys that
Man,
we're going
we
to be
do.
reviewing.
We yesterday we told you guys we went up to Line Table.
they got the
and
credit card. Ooh.
so yeah, we bought this Jura because we honestly the only Jura we had left on the bar was these little bitties, so we wanted to get something bigger.
Hold up. We went up specifically just to get
Yes,
that bottle.
we went up to get.
How many
this.
bottles did we end up with?
5.
5 including this.
Yeah,
Is that bad? Is that? I mean, come on.
making it rain.
Yeah. So we do have some good ones, and I was really excited about them because we've got one. You want to talk? So we picked up the Wolfburn, the
Aurora.
the sherry version, which is cool because we really loved
I'm not
the
looking forward
peated
to that.
version. And what's really cool about this is
Scott would like
this
that,
is
but-
3-year-old
Oh,
juice,
Eric, thank you.
right? And so this is.
Hey.
Thanks, Eric.
This is
Appreciate it,
interesting
buddy.
stuff. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the super chat. So
I can't even
excited
see.
about what's going on there. Then we picked up
The Deanston 20.
the Deanston 20. Now I was kind of leaning towards that because Roy, if you guys are watching Aquavite's channel, he is
Deanston
high
20.
on Deanston right now.
Yeah.
He loved-
And
I'm
this
looking
is-
It
forward
was
to
his
that.
distillery of the year last year.
Right.
Oh,
This
was
is,
it? Yeah,
Right.
nice.
20-year-old Deanston matured in Oloroso.
Yep.
Right. It's going to be good.
Well, there was 2 18s and a 20, and they're all the same price.
And I'm going with
Like,
the
why wouldn't you get the 20?
I'm going with the 20. And then what was we picked up?
The Kilhoman.
Oh, the Loch Grom.
Lochgorm.
Loch Gorm, yeah, the Kilhoman. Everybody's talking about it. We had to get it, so
Yep.
we
We hadn't
got
tried
it.
that one yet. Actually, we haven't had enough Kilhoman, so I was kind of excited
Yeah.
to pick that one out.
Because it's an interesting distillery. It's a farm distillery, right? It's from
Yeah.
field to bottle. So
Now, I know what you're thinking. That's only 4, right? Well, the fifth one is just for us.
Yeah, this was just a drinking whiskey for us. This was a Vine and Table exclusive bottling. Dennis had gone.
They poured
over
us a
there.
glass, and I talked Mark into it.
He
I twisted his arm.
did. Yeah, there's that Deanston. So we got a lot of stuff on the lineup, man. We're really looking forward to it. Hey, don't forget Telex's after show coming up right now.
Apparently, he's got some stuff that Andrew's gonna.
Yeah, he put his lineup on there. Let me go through this because I like his lineup. He had Bowmore, Doris Moore, Batch 3, and 15 Darkest.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
I know.
That's an Andrew staple right
It is.
there.
It is an Andrew staple.
That's like meat and potatoes.
So 15 Darkest was the Scotch that I first tasted. I went, wow.
Yeah, he did.
That
He's
was
like, oh my god.
We've been doing a little bit of Scotch for a while. And we went to the Whiskey Expo and I tasted that and I'm like, guys, you gotta try this. You gotta try this.
Yeah.
This is like amazing.
And I love when people have that whiskey experience.
It
You
was.
know what I
Like,
mean?
boom.
It's that moment of clarity when you're like, oh,
Wow,
they
This
can do
isn't
that
Bud
too.
Light.
We were talking about it on Aquavita's.
Zima.
Zima. This isn't Zima. This is amazing.
They were talking about it on Aquavita's feed earlier. What's your baptism Scotch? What's that Scotch that just changed your world? You were like, oh my god, this is something. This is Scotch can be this,
Yeah.
right? And it's that moment. Yeah. So yours was the bone. I remember it.
I
And-
sure do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, so Telex is coming up. Really appreciate everybody submitting questions to us. We'll get answers to the ones that we didn't get to online or on the live show. Obviously, you guys are subscribed.
Happy
and you
Scotch
hit the
Day.
notice. Right,
Happy
happy
Scotch Day.
International Scotch Day.
Thanks for tuning with
I
us.
think
mean,
I think we did a good job of rounding out Scotch Day. I'm gonna need something to toast Scotch Day with.
I
though.
think we got something
What?
for you.
What can we
Yeah.
toast Scotch Day with?
Well, didn't we do a review this week?
Yes,
I
we
think
did.
we did.
Oh well, I want a fresh glass for that one.
Well, what is that? What did we taste this
Guys,
week?
thanks so much. We will
Oh.
see you next week. I'm not sure what's happening yet, but we'll let you know. Appreciate you guys. You guys are best. Thanks so much.
Until next
WhiskyTube.
time.
We'll see you guys. We're out.
Later.